Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Daredevil-Cold Day in Hell by Charles Soule and Steve McNiven. Check out this amazing Frank Miller variant cover. Cannot wait to share it with you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Okay, so these Frank Miller variant covers have been hit or miss in the minds of the public. I've been eating them all up. I think they are great. Some are superior than others, and this one definitely falls in the superior category. Frank Miller is a master of black and white, and this is a great way to use negative space. I've kind of been critical of Alex Sinclair's coloring on it, but I think this looks great. It feels like a little bit of an homage to The Dark Knight Returns with the flash of the lightning bolt and the stark silhouette. Not quite as stark, but hey, you get the idea. Anyway, I think it looks great. I guess this is a miniseries, not sure how many issues. Think Old Man Daredevil or Daredevil Reign. It feels very much like Kari Andrews, like Spider-Man Reign. Like we have an old Matt Murdock here, who is sort of, I don't know, post superpowers. Some event happened that took away his powers and the powers of other superheroes. And so he's old, powerless, and, things seem bleak. And so this is just like Daredevil the End, or like I said, it feels very much like Daredevil Reign, like Spider-Man Reign. It's so interesting. Steve McNiven like totally copied Barry Windsor Smith's art to do like an anniversary Weapon X Wolverine book a few years back. And I thought that was so strange, but it looked so cool. And now I feel like he's channeling Frank Miller on Elektra graphic novel. Electra Lives or whatever, which one that was, because the art looks very much the same. I think it's so strange to be like a superhero, like blockbuster artist, like very popular, known for a specific style that you've kind of branded yourself on, and then turn into the artist who copies off of very well-known styles for major projects. It seems so strange and interesting. I mean, it does look great. It really does look great. But, it reminds me of Keith Giffen getting a lot of flack for copying a Spanish artist for his style and then another artist for his trencher style. So it also brought me to mind, like, and I am against AI, but like the problem with people have with AI is that it takes all this existing art from artists and like basically pastiches it and puts it all together and culls from all the great artists. But really, isn't that what human artists have been doing for centuries? I don't know. It's a strange, interesting concept and conversation, right? So I think that, speaking of pretentious, right? I don't know. Why do we always romanticize the villains, especially after they are gone? It's like Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, is like arguably Matt Murdock's arch nemesis. He's gone here, but he still visits his grave and acts like he deserves this sort of respect or whatever. I can see Batman whacking off at Joker's grave too, so I don't know what it is. I guess, after all this time, you sort of like, I don't know, what is it, right? Look at the detail. This is so good. It reminds me of sort of like a Jeff Darrow, very like open line, like no shadow kind of stark art style. But then you do get a lot of the heavy blacks. It's very interesting. Like I'm saying, I'm calling it like Frank Miller style on Electra Lives Again. It's 100% that. But then again, it's like I also do see sort of like the influence of Spider-Man Reign, because that's very like effects heavy with the coloring. And not that this is, I feel like Steve McNiven, who is apparently coloring this, is very much trying to copy what Lynn Varley did on Electra Lives Again to great effect. I mean, the art does look great. It's hard to be objective about the art, like, because in my mind I'm comparing it to Miller and Varley. And the thing is, Frank Miller, as much as his storytelling and his composition and all that stuff is great, his execution is a little rudimentary. It is a little caveman-esque, and this feels a little more solid in a way. It's so interesting to me. Okay, so he's old, he's fragile. He feels a certain way. You know, these guys try to mug him, and he's like, "No, just take the money." And they're like, "Oh shit, you're blind, whatever." And so, uh, you know, they're establishing the fact that he's powerless, he's frail, he's weak, but he still has, you know, this heroic sort of attitude toward the underdog or whatever, you know, and it's not justified. I mean, they push him down the steps, you know, whatever. And then this event happens. He makes reference to Jessica Jones, by the way. He's not sure if she still has her powers or not. Um, and then so there's this like explosion that he just so happens to be witness to or present for, and there's radiation, and this gives him his powers back. And the thing is, like, of course, we knew that like he's gonna have to like be born again or enter the fray or become a hero at some point. So it's kind of interesting, like, come full circle. You know, this accident caused his blindness and his powers, which, you know, changed the trajectory of his life forever. He loses his powers and then he gets them back in the twilight of his life. And the funny thing is, though, is like, and just like in Spider-Man Reign, they talk about his frail body giving up on him and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, it doesn't seem like it would be possible to do all this stuff physically just because he has radar sense. You know what I mean? They didn't really have, you know, I mean, his radar sense didn't really give him super strength or anything like that. So I don't know. It seems a little dicey. So then we have Captain America, like, being the, who's that guy who held up the world or whatever forever and had vultures eating his liver and shit. I don't know. I feel like that's him right here. And he's holding up all this rubble and, you know, he can't hold it forever and blah, blah, blah. He perishes in this heroic death. And, you know, Daredevil's powers have returned so he can hear his heartbeat. He's trying to save him, but he can't. And, you know, it's pretty gripping, whatever. Spoilers, by the way. The storytelling is so good. I do love the way that the story is kind of done. Suspension of disbelief, I think, is such an important part of comics in general, and I think I'm going to need to exercise it hard here. But I had the same problem with, like, old man Spider-Man, you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't believe that, like, a 70, 80-year-old man could do this, no matter what, you know what I mean? This pose here, I mean, I can barely tie my shoes, and I'm half that age, so what can I tell you? I don't know. This has to be Bullseye. Very creepy, very weird. It's getting kind of dark. Yeah, I mean, he says this right on target. Sometimes I think it's a little silly and tropey when they do things like that in comic. I mean, it was very obvious that it was Bullseye, but in case you were wondering, he has to say something like that, like about a target. See what I mean about the, I don't know. What do you think, guys? Are you okay with, like, using another artist's style? I mean, in a way, it's very interesting, right? I mean, in a way, it's really great, but in another way, it's just kind of weird. Like, why, as an established artist, you would want to do something like this? But it is interesting at the same time. Because then, you know, if you don't know, then you're reading this sight unseen and you think that this is all, like, Steve McNiven with no other inspiration and stuff, but that could be said about any artist, I guess. And then this is the freaking Punisher, limbless and, like, tied to the wall, being tortured by freaking Bullseye. This is so creepy and weird and gross, and, like, I didn't know we were gonna go so dark, but it's also interesting, and I'm curious, and I can't help but want to come back for more. So good, pretty solid first issue. Never loved the whole, like, old man at the end of the rope kind of, like, comeback fighting court situation, but I don't know. It's good. I like it. It's fun. I love Matt Murdock. I love Daredevil. So give me something interesting, different quality, and here it is. So lots of fun, like, process stuff, sketches, and layouts and scripts in the back. And like I said, if nothing else, the Frank Miller variant cover was totally worth it. But at $6.99, I don't know. It's a little expensive, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will bring you more soon.